there was this picture of LeBron, Maverick Carter, his agent, and Nikola Jokić, his agent, on a boat. And there's lots of like, what are they talking about? Is LeBron going to Denver? Is Jokić coming to LA? What's going on? Then, I don't know, it was yesterday or earlier today. I think it was yesterday. It came out that the conversation was in regards to Maverick Carter starting a league, some international league, where you have men's teams and women's teams, and it'll be like LIV Golf, only for the NBA. Like, wow, that's genius, right? Everybody takes an idea. And I don't know if Qdoba came first or if Chipotle came first, but somebody stole somebody else's fast casual idea, right? And then you look at all the fast casual places. Then you guys ever had kava? Like kava came in like, we'll do the Greek form of it. There is an Indian food form of it, but as I told you, no disrespect to my Indian brothers and sisters, but I don't do Indian food. It's like the only thing I don't do. I just don't. It's just not my jam. But the bigger point is, like, I obviously LIV has made a lot of people a lot of money. It has broken through. They have partnered with the PGA. No one knows, what's going to happen to it in the future, but a lot of guys have gotten rich off it, and it's interesting. And they try and do the kind of rock and roll NBA introductions and try and spice it up, whatever. And golf, which can be seen as lame, is tried to be made cool by LIV Golf. Whatever level of whether it's working or not working, it's still surviving, and guys are still getting paid, and so it's lasted this long, so it has worked. But I have a hypothesis that I'd like to share with you, and you tell me if it makes sense. Okay? Chris Perfett, by the way, is filling in for Dan Byers here. Hey, welcome in, Chris. Of course, you got Iowa Sam and my man Jay Stu. Okay. So I think most people who watch and cover the NBA are familiar, and some people are not, that LeBron James has made it very, very clear he not only wants to own an NBA team, he wants to own a Vegas expansion team. Vegas expansion team. And many of you are driving along, you're sitting in your cubicle, you're listening to the DG show, maybe you're listening to us on the app, and you're like, yeah, I remember something about that. Okay, so I think, first of all, this meeting very easily could have happened in secret, and no one knows about it. Why would somebody take a picture and then put it out on social media? Because they want you to know it's happening, right? That's inarguable. I don't have to talk to somebody in LeBron's camp or Jokic's camp to know that the reason it was out on social media is they want you to know it's happening. Why would they want you to know it's happening? Well, there's only two possible reasons. One, LeBron was told he's not getting a team, which is altogether possible, maybe even likely, because as deep as LeBron's pockets are, they're not that deep. They're not that deep. The LeBron being worth $1 billion, it sounds good. It's very likely to not be real because I'm sure a lot of it is tied up in Nike stock and in other stocks. Not that that doesn't count in terms of your valuation, but I think a lot of it is based upon his personal brand, his personal value. Not how much actual cash he has or how many actual assets he has and whether or not those assets equal out to $1 billion. I remember NBA teams, we just watched the Lakers go for $10 billion. Billion. So I know NBA players, and LeBron seems to be the richest of them, but that pales in comparison to the guys that are in the financial markets. So there's one of only two possibles that I've come up with. Either one, he was told he's not getting a team, and this is his way of going, or two, he wants to leverage his way to getting a team, and the only way to get leverage is if you don't give me this team, I'm going to go out and form this other league that's going to be in competition with you. With the hopes of ultimately getting a team that way. That's the only two possible solutions I can think of, or reasons I can think of, why LeBron would not only have this meeting. Having the meeting, you can take a meeting with anybody. But why do you want to take a picture of it? Why do you want people to know what it was about? Why do you want to know? Why do you want to include Nikola Jokic's agent in it? It's pretty obvious, right? That this is, I'm sure they're going to sell it as, this is our next step. This is what we do after we retire. Is we own NBA teams. We force expansion into Europe by putting together teams in Europe, and then ultimately they join the NBA. Or maybe it's because we make them pay us. We make them give us a seat at the table. Or maybe it's an FU. The issue with any league outside of the NBA in comparison to golf is golfers, outside of their sponsorship money, if they don't play well on Thursday and Friday, they don't get paid. They don't get to hang around for Saturday and Sunday. Whereas NBA players, they're plenty well compensated. And oh yeah, by the way, that money is based upon TV deals. And a new league wouldn't have enough teams, nor would have the star power to have those big TV deals. And if the sale was, hey, we're going to launch with LeBron James, the problem is that by the time LeBron James' contract expires, say they start a new league, and he is the centerpiece of it. He'll be 41 years old. And he'll be playing against rummies. And it will diminish all the things he did in the NBA. It just will. That's the reality to it. Okay? It'll diminish what he's done in the NBA. And the last part, and maybe the most important part to it, that this is my takeaway, and it may not sit well with you, but I know it to be reality, which is LeBron has never cared about Laker fans or being a Laker. He clearly doesn't care about being a Miami Heat, and very likely doesn't care about being a Cleveland Cavalier and what all that represents, because he left there twice. And conducting such a meeting and allowing your agent with a firm that you started to tweet out that picture showing that you're trying to do harm to the league that has helped make you into a billionaire only shows that LeBron James cares only about the relationships of people he knew in high school, and that's it. That's it. If he cared about J.J. Redick and their relationship, he never would have allowed his agent to go public and say they're not a championship team. If he cared about the Lakers, he wouldn't do so many of the things he's done while being a member of the Lakers. We've discussed this. If he cared about being a member of the Miami Heat, he wouldn't have just left. Why? They played in 4 NBA finals. They won 2 of them. He's shown no value, nor has he ever claimed that as part, This is who LeBron is. It definitely tracks. He's somebody who doesn't actually care about anybody outside of his inner circle. And again, that's okay, with the exception of the fact that you desperately want to be loved by everybody and cared for by everybody, but those are really transactional relationships. So the big takeaways from LeBron meeting with Jokic's agent is, I think it's a leverage play or an FU play, because he was either told he's not going to get a team or he wants to try and force himself to getting a team. And the only way he can do it is to force his way by helping create this new league. The miscalculation is that league has zero value unless it has stars. And the best star would be LeBron James, who, don't get me wrong, people would come out and watch if he's trying to start a league, people would watch. But they're not going to pay attention to a league. And then at some point, when your best and most known player retires, then what do you have? Nothing. It feels like it's simply a leverage play in order to get the NBA to give them that team in Vegas, which they may or may not have during the next cycle.